It's already been quite a spicy morning so far. We've spoke Celtic, Rangers, the Europa League teams winning last night, the English representatives, and a victory for Crystal Palace, which puts them on the verge of qualification for the Conference League next round as well. But what a horrible night it was. I don't know about what you were doing last night, where you were, but I was in the pub and I got a text message from one of my mates, and then the cascade started, and it was all about World Cup ticket prices. Every WhatsApp group that I was in, every bit of social media that I saw last night was all about the same subject. The fans group, the Football Supporters Europe, has said it is astonished by FIFA's extortionate pricing strategy and called for ticket sales to be halted immediately to the World Cup in 2026. Ticket prices for FIFA's showpiece event are as much as 7 times more expensive than the 2022 World Cup. The lowest price tickets are costing £450. In a departure from recent tournaments, group stage games have to be priced on the perceived popularity of teams involved rather than at a flat rate. FIFA hasn't provided any details yet on how this popularity metric has been determined. What I thought was really fascinating was when I got the spreadsheet up from the original bid document, which suggested that there would be tickets priced at around about $60 for some games in the group stages, only now to find that they have disappeared and that the cheapest tickets are over $200 now. Let's speak to Thomas Concannon, who is the FSA spokesperson. He was with us last week and he gave us a little warning that this could be the case. And this is, quite frankly, absolutely astonishing, isn't it? England fans discovering yesterday that it's likely to cost them a minimum of £5,200 just to watch their team if they're going to follow them from first game to final. What did you make of it when you first got the confirmation? Even you, I'm sure, who has been studying this for the last few months, was absolutely gobsmacked.
Yeah, I really was, Sam. It was... I was on last week and I really didn't see we knew the prices were going to be high. I really didn't see them being this high. That price for the final in particular, which England fans are used to paying in advance, just in case we get there, is absolutely astonishing. £3,200 is effectively what that's going to cost. That's £35 a minute. It's just absolutely astonishing. $7,000 to follow England right from the start to the finish. They didn't need to do this. They could have looked after the participating nations, even though they're not looking after general admission and selling the prices to the American market as they wish. They could have looked after the supporters of the nations that follow them through thick and thin, and they haven't done that. They've actually made it even worse, and England fans are paying more than what other countries are. They've weighted the countries in terms of popularity. It's just completely unacceptable. It's an absolute disgrace.
How can they get away with producing a document which says when we bid for this tournament, we are going to charge for Category 4 tickets 60, 21, 21, 31, 42 for the first 4 rounds of the competition. Category 3 tickets, $174 in group games. $300 tickets for Category 2 pricing in the group games. And then for the inflation to take it so much higher by the time the reality starts to kick in, and the proposed prices now being so much more than that. I mean, the cheapest ticket for an England opener is $265.
Yeah, I mean, that bid submittal years ago was supposed to include inflation, and they've just decided that there's a market to go even further with this. It's clear where this is coming from. It's seemingly FIFA's mentality nowadays, of just trying to get as much money in as possible, and it's pricing out the loyal supporters. As I've said, it's just really disappointing. We've just called on the FAs to try and stand together and call this out, because someone needs to back up the supporters here. There's supporters who have attended tournaments for years, and they're ultimately going to be priced out of it. Some supporters, it's once in a lifetime opportunity, and this might have been it, and they just won't be able to afford it. And if they can, they're probably putting themselves in debt to do so. That cost for tickets, that's just tickets alone. The flight prices, the hotel prices have all shot through the roof. It's just so expensive.
Thomas, you've sort of alluded to it there, but are you disappointed that we've been met by a wall of silence from the FA so far? Why have they not released a statement? Why have they not called this out for what it is, which is a disgrace, quite frankly, from FIFA? they've had enough time now, haven't they, to go into bat for you supporters?
I think, yeah, I mean, obviously the prices came out 24 hours ago. I think the FA didn't get them long before that. That's been part of the problem.
They should have been ready, though, should they not?
Well, yes, but I think it's probably a difficult point that it'll look like the English are complaining again. It'll be we need everyone to group together on this. Every single FA need to come together on this, and hopefully the FA are working on that because they need to stand up for supporters. Staying silent is not an option.
Will you go? Will members of your group go and find somewhere else to watch it rather than go to matches themselves? A lot of people suggesting now that if they are going to go to matches in America, they won't be going into the more high tariff games later on. And do you think that England fans should boycott the tournament?
It's a difficult one to say. I think it's going to be an individual choice if people decide to pay this or not. I think the majority are going to say that they're not going to pay this. Unfortunately, a lot of England fans did book travel, as I did myself. We booked travel. We're ready and set to go. But these ticket prices are certainly a conversation to be had as to whether we can even afford this. From a personal level, I can't afford those prices. So it'll just be a case of just having to wait and see what happens. But the plan is still obviously to go and be out there and help England fans who do make the trip. But yeah, it's just really disappointing that it won't be like previous World Cups where England fans would travel in the thousands, as they should, to Mexico, America and Canada. three great countries that we have great relationships with. We could have had a fantastic time. But you'll just see a lot more people will just stay at home and watch it in the pubs. And
Thomas, can I just say I've listened the last 24 hours and everybody's of the same feeling about how disappointed they are with the pricing and everything else. But do you know the hierarchy, the people at the top, they know that whatever price they put on, we'll sell them all. They know that we'll sell out, even though I know what you're saying. People will go into debt. Because it's a once in a lifetime for some people. I mean, people at my age, for example, you think every 4 years you've got to go. And so people will borrow money and use the credit card, whatever they do. They will sell out every ticket and will travel with thousands. And that's what disappoints me because...
Is there a case then, Neil? Is there a case, Thomas, that actually we should treat this in a similar manner in which we treated the expansion of the Super League and the suggestion of the Super League coming into play, where actually the fans stood up and said, no, we're not going to do this, we're not going to have it, and put paid to it within 24 hours by making it very, very clear that they were not going to get behind it.
Yeah, but the issue you've got there is that even if genuine fans are priced out, there are going to be
other people,
tourists and casual football fans who will pay the money. And I said to you in a private conversation last night, this is not a World Cup problem or a FIFA problem, although I condemn FIFA in the strongest possible terms. This is a football problem because football as a sport doesn't want the loyal supporters buying their season tickets. They want the day trippers and the tourists who are willing to pay over the odds to come and watch their heroes.
Yeah, I think just to jump in on that, Neil's right. The expats will probably fill the stadiums and it'll all look healthy. Everything will look great. But the reality is there are the loyal supporters who have been priced out of this, and clearly FIFA aren't bothered about that whatsoever. The allocations are also really low. We've only got 4,500 tickets for the final in an 82,000 seater stadium. Like that again is scandalous in itself. But so they'll fill the seats however they want. They could have kept the tickets for the participating nations cheaper and affordable for the fans that are expected to travel and make the spectacle what is. But they haven't. They've gone in completely the opposite direction. They're actually charging us more. So it's we just can't understand this. And hopefully the tickets haven't gone on sale yet. We just need as much pressure on as possible to try and halt this, as Football Supporters Europe said.
You say that the expats will fill the stadiums. My brother is an American citizen. He's lived there for 20 years. He's very excited about the World Cup. We're in the same group as him. Last night, he said to us, he had looked into the possibilities going to Dallas, just as a one-off experience. Just he wanted to go and see England. So he tried to go to Dallas. Doesn't live that far away. But he said it was so cost prohibitive for him to drive there and get a ticket and get it. He reckons it would cost him $3,500 just to do that one game. And he lives in the United States of America. So, yeah, the cost is prohibitive, not just for England fans that want to come from these shores, that have got all the caps and have been doing the tours around Europe and the qualifiers. It's cost prohibitive for everyone. How are they going to fill these stadiums?
Yeah, that is the interesting thing, is it will be interesting to see as the ticket sales go along. I think that it's clearly been priced as an American market, and this is maybe what they charge for sporting events in America, but this is the World Cup. We don't pay those prices in Europe. I'm sure they don't pay those prices around the world. It's been priced in an American standard, and I suppose the assumption is that they'll fill it, and they're confident of filling it on those prices. As it's been marketed by FIFA themselves. It's 104 Super Bowls apparently. I'm not convinced by that, but it's it's just the assumption that this is why it's been priced that way, because they're confident they can get the expats to fill it, or the locals to fill it. And we'll just have to wait and see, won't we? I mean, the Club World Cup obviously showed a lot of empty seats, and it would be hardly surprising if that happened again.
What's the next step?
We'll just try and keep the pressure on. We'll speak to the FA. It's making as much noise as possible at this stage. It's obviously FIFA are sort of on their own path with this. It's very difficult to make inroads, but we'll continue to try as much as we possibly can to help support us.
Thank you very much, Thomas Concannon from the Football Supporters Association. He's their spokesperson, and he is absolutely astonished, like the rest of us were. And Neil, you know the role of fans. You know what it's like as a manager. You need the support of your fans, your supporters in the stadium, especially if you're trying to win a World Cup for the first time since 1966.
You will. My biggest worry is that I know people that will go into big debt and they can't afford it. A lot of people can afford it and they'll go. But it's the people who I know are going to borrow by any means and do things to get money in, to get them tickets. That's the concern for me. How many people are going to fall by the wayside?
I think it's really poor. We've not heard from the FA. We're 24 hours on now from the ticket prices coming out. They should have been ready to go. They knew that prices were going to be high. The fact they've stayed silent is a really poor look on the FA.
03717 22 We want you to tell us what you're going to do now. Will you go to the World Cup? Will you find somewhere to go and watch it with other fans over in America? Or will you just think, forget that, it's too expensive, going to stay here and watch it on TV and listen to it on talkSPORT?